Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darkest Dungeon. Let's continue. So, inevitably, we have a ton of people with a lot of stress, so I just need to embark on a really simplistic run and try and level up some level 3 characters. I could certainly do a middle run here for Silence in the Crypts, um, or we could experiment with a long run. Yeah, I think this might be one to go for just because we want this restraining padlock compared to, say, getting a sun ring, which we would like that too. Yeah, I think yeah, we're gonna risk it for the sun ring, just in the. No, we don't need the sun ring, really, do we? Yeah. There's this whole new level of items too above very rare, which the game is now showing as something. Which one was it that had something? Hmm. We could do the caregivers convention at level 5. That's not going to work though. Well, somewhere around here there was a item. Let's see. Talisman of the Flame, minus 100% stress, minus 100% damage taken. That's a unique item. And somewhere I saw in here, and maybe it's moved around and I can't get it now, a item that was above very rare and was under this category of being ancestral. Here's a trophy level item, which also highlights, I guess, um, another thing. Yeah, and I guess this is the reward. If we kill this swine god at some point, we would then get 50% stun resist and 10 dodge, and put that on any character that's level 6, and you've got a item that massively could change the outcome. Yeah, same thing here. 20% damage versus unholy, 8% crit versus unholy. Decent chance whatever we fight in the darkest dungeon is unholy. But yeah, we don't have our characters high enough, so we're taking a simplistic run. It is interesting to see that the two uh, firewoods do not stack at all. I probably am just not going to have enough resources here to take much of anything else. Like, it would be ideal and nice to take something else, but I guess the prices here are things I've not really been paying a lot of attention to. Like, the more I look at this, each of these are really within 50 gold of each other, where I was thinking that each of these items were actually way cheaper than the keys and the shovels. Um, okay. Let's embark. So I've been wasting decent handfuls of gold every time I try an item on something, but
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar.
I'm
Now,
learning.
foreign.
We just want to explore 90% of the rooms, which means, yeah, that's gonna be a deal. The first thing to do, unfortunately, is math on this, So put that up there. That's 8, that's 9, that's 10. And then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So one room can be skipped still, even in a large room. Yeah, that's gonna suck. Let's see. So we'll try this, see if anything happens. We'll try this and see if anything happens. We'll try this and see if anything happens. We'll try this and see if anything happens. And then I assume holy water. That relieves stress. That will free up our inventory. But this has really just got to be a environment that is just going to be completely devoid of fights. Or we're hoping that the characters are low level enough that that works fairly well with us. I didn't intentionally mean to move that guy forward, but that worked out very nicely. I was just trying to do a different type of attack, which these characters don't have different attacks equipped upgraded to the max levels anyway, so yeah, it's not really a smart move.
Annihilated.
This potentially kills one or two of them.
A faint hope blossoms.
Since this is a medium difficulty thing, can we heal? Just heal herself, I guess. Minus 15 stress. Does anybody even have any stress at all that would make that worth it? Better to destroy the corpses. I do think that there is a high chance that a long run may just be too long of a run for anybody but the highest of level characters. If anything, a long run will highlight how there is a maximum level of preparedness you can really be at before everything is just going to fall apart. The fact that this is taking me so many turns is disconcerting, even if it isn't hurting me. Okay. It's probably wise to go with people that have items still open. So send this guy in here. Make sure we have our characters in the right order. Move on. So we may very well just run into a lot of short runs to kind of empty locations or short fights. Although we may also run into things like the Slaving Ghoul, and then that throws that idea out the window completely. Even these Twilight Maggots seem like they might be a neat level
to the pit
of difficulty. And almost undoubtedly, your stress that you're going to take is going to be affected by taking on so many fights in so many rooms. I can't imagine that anything other than just lucky events in which you don't run into enemies and fight them
size alone
would help you get through a large building. And what does large really mean? Does that mean we'll get more experience to potentially level up this dungeon to a max level? Are we actually being rewarded because we're leveling up the dungeons to the max level? Or are we actually being penalized by leveling it up? It kind of feels like we're being penalized and the dungeons are getting more difficult, not easier. If perhaps there had been some level of reward as far as just a stamina system of some sort, something that says, hey, you went through a large run, that means your resolve is more, which probably will get more resolve, but a stress reduction or something else will also have to play a role.
No clemency in this place.
We don't have any items this would work with. Clemency is kind of a big word. I wonder if that's one of the words that's in the glossary. Even if it was, you can't pull up the glossary in mid dungeon, which highlights
as the light
a
gains
slight
purchase,
problem of
spirits are lifted,
having a glossary in general clear. If you can't pull it up.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles.
You would like
blood.
For the curios to synergize with items you find, like the holy water. This is another character I don't believe we've ever seen. I suppose, as long as the Jester can remove stress if he's got nothing better to do, that might keep a lot of these characters stressed down somewhat. Let's see if we can debuff this guy instead. You would think, seeing a new character, that there would be something you really would want to check out here, but every time I've hovered over a character, I've really only looked at their health at most, and I haven't cared one bit about their 5 different stats and debuffs. Inherently, you could make an abridged version of this game, I think, fairly easily by just getting rid of name skills that do different things and resistances and effects. If this was, say, trying to be more of a cell phone game, experience, an attack and a defend, a run button might be the totality of what you would actually need, instead of having 5 buttons or 4 buttons for 4 different attacks, and fleeing and passing and having a whole bunch of items you can use and a whole bunch of upgrades in the armor and weapons, and then items that further complicate the system. Healing in particular is not something that's working.
The blood quickens.
Like, I don't think there's been a single fight where healing did more than maybe save 1 or 2 characters from a death blow. In fact, the whole death blow system really highlights the fact that healing and having a specific health
reveal themselves.
Has been subverted. The idea of just having health and dying it when your health is at 0 is totally getting subverted by the death blow system. Other RPGs certainly have had systems where your life potentially would have been reduced to 0, and instead they saved you. A lot of RPGs have things like Phoenix. Phoenix Downs is the Final Fantasy one.
Patched up, if only to bleed again.
A certain level, because of the stress system, it almost feels like the characters should... I should be moving people around, actually, instead of not attacking.
Destroyed.
His heals are not going anywhere fast. Almost certainly we're not going to win here.
Give them no quarter.
Unless these characters were just so out of order.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
So, we're not anywhere close to being done, but we might as well just camp now, since we've got 2 camps.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
Like, almost certainly this would be the point where anything that could make the whole team prepared and better. Zealous speech is good, and remove a mortality buff on that character. And then reduce stress more. Self minus 25 stress, all companions plus stress. Yep.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
So we have to effectively walk back through where we already went. Our health's really low. We're kind of hoping for a hunger check, but even at a hunger check, it's really not going to help us much. Inevitably, I'm going to have to travel through some path. So I guess the question is, which is safer, this path or back to the beginning? It would be a slightly different game if we actually had to walk all the way to the exit, or if there was an automated way in which walking back to the exit created a scenario where you might fail or encounter enemies and encounter another fight. That'd be realistic. Although, what's the point of adding realism to a lot of games? Like this game in particular, I don't know if it particularly benefits by having more realism. Here we've got another fight, so this would be an opportunity to reevaluate things. Seriously, is everybody out of order yet again? Alright, well.
Eradicated.
That's one down. Let's move this guy into the right place. And that moved the Jester into the right place. So it actually helped me. That being said, I don't know if I fully trust all of this. We do have the occultist, who has by far the highest healing options, so I should take advantage of that. This does feel like this is going a little bit better. Almost a full heal. If you are going to play the occultist, you probably want to play with characters that have a lot of bleed resist, so they don't start bleeding, losing all the health. But we can see we're not really getting crits here. We're not killing these characters quite fast enough.
A victory.
2 down now.
The turning point.
But really, if you're making it to the 5th turn,
Well
you've made a
struck.
mistake.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay. So immediately we are Running out of food,
The
running out of
light,
space.
the promise of safety.
And we have +8 dodge for the highwayman and +1 speed versus something for 375. So we'll sell that and take that. We'll go here. We've tried everything else, so we'll use a key.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Which I guess means we sell that one for 300. And then 750 versus 1750 versus 250. And no, we are not anywhere close. Let's go this way and skip that room. This guy's still don't have anything we can use here. Well, we can use holy water, so we should use holy water. Just double check we're in the right order. Who's got the most disarm? 80, 70, 70. So we'll go with 80. That character didn't have any stress to relieve though, so wasn't too much we could do with that. The rest of this map would just have to be fairly empty. But we'll go as far as we can.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
You would hope that there was some kind of pity counter for every time you leave gold behind, every time you leave something else behind, then that would increase the chances of getting a bigger reward in the next run. I don't know if I really feel like something like that actually does exist in this game. But I just don't know how otherwise you would make progress.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
You just don't have enough space. And there's, short of the antiquarian letting you hold a little bit more gold and then seemingly also increasing the amount of gold you find. Map. Well, this tells us that there are 2 boss room fights minimum that we'd have to survive through. And it tells us that we potentially could camp after like this boss room fight. Let's go ahead and just try and heal characters with this guy while we're in this small fight, because this alone may kill with bleed effects, or this one attack will kill.
Executed with impunity.
If this one's doing like 3 damage, that's not really that much damage. Although healing for 3 and potentially taking 3, it's not worth it, particularly if there's like stress factors.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Another one falls.
I think this probably does
But a
show
victory nonetheless.
why you would want the hallway fights. It's because then you can have weaker fights, but they're not super weaker fights. Like, you would half expect there to be simply a like single maggot that would show up instead of 3 if it is just supposed to be a big fight.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
So we'll toss these 2 torches for more upgrade material. Okay. This will be a real fight, so we'll want to take these guys out fairly quickly. And we have a buff for 2 more battles, so we should just wait until that buff goes away before we camp again.
Decisive pummeling.
If we have any chance. And while this map is long, it kind of does highlight that the maps can't be that long. The interface is just not designed for this. Honestly, it probably was a nightmare programming this interface for this game. I wouldn't have been 100% surprised if that map interface went full screen at some point.
And improvement.
Or was just your default screen. You could certainly have dumbed it down by just saying there's like room 1, room 2, room 3, and it was just moving from the left to the right always, because the opportunity to choose where you're going, well, nice, isn't really changing the gameplay. You end up still having to go everywhere you're expected to go. Almost all of the map requirements are to see most of the level. We've had some boss fights where we've gotten lucky and found the boss early. Let's see if we heal ourselves. Well, that was bad. His stress is a little high. Heal this guy. Do we have anything else we can do? We can remove his stress. Need this character to actually attack. We could attack a corpse, I suppose, instead of trying to heal. This really is highlighting the potential problem of having too many debuffers.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay, so we can't do anything yet, so we've got to do this. Right, so the question would be, does a bandage do anything? No. Does a torch do anything? No. Does a key do anything? No. Does a shovel do anything? No. So if there was anything that interacted with it. I didn't have it. That's probably just a shrine, in the same way that the cove has like the little mermaids on the front of the ship. It just seems to be that there are 4 unique visual representations of shrines for each area. That's the last of my shovels, so if I run into any more obstacles, I'm in trouble. Oops. I may also be in trouble
reward for a
when I
task
run
well
out of
performed.
torches. Just have one more battle to do. So, yeah. Have we tried a torch on this? Have we tried a key on this? We have tried a bandage on this. It seems like there is no positive reward for things like the Iron Maiden unless you have an item that synergizes with it. Jeez, this guy really does not want to heal himself, does he? So that's probably 1 dead. Possibly even 2 dead.
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
That's
Impressive.
2 down. I guess if this guy's gonna stay in stealth, we then just play a tune, reducing stress further in this character. And questionably, maybe I should just be healing this
A
guy,
momentary abatement.
which seems like there's way more success around that than healing the occultist.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
See, this would be the place where you really would like to be able to send all of your treasure back. But I can't, so I'll just
A spark without
make
kindling.
camp. I think
goal
that may have
without
been the
hope.
last of my food. So we could remove the mortality debuff on this character. Let's see. We could remove 15 stress, but this guy doesn't even have that. So everybody's stress is now down to 0. And that leaves us with just 1. So that's good enough. But notably, having that second campfire event
The darkness holds much worse
Doesn't-
than mere trickery and
doesn't
boogeymen.
really help until you start to have characters that you're going to upgrade your camping abilities for.
A devastating blow.
I just don't have the resources to upgrade the survivalist camping abilities, let alone the golds to upgrade those abilities. And this, I can't help but feel like this is just making the game take way longer than it really should. I honestly feel like I should have been much closer to the end at this point. I'm approaching a point where I'm gonna start feeling like I should have completely won the game by now. But I also definitely cannot deny that
Death waits.
there's a lot of
lapse in concentration.
content here that can't possibly be close to the end. It's 2 down. Guess we should just attack here. Let's continuously try and heal. The sound effects here are a little too extreme. And I don't know if I really get the background changing so much. Heal that one. Attack that one.
Grievous injury.
Whole bunch of darkness.
Fear. This expedition at least promises success.
Okay. Fire will give me fire. Otherwise you just would risk it.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
This is gonna be bad.
Without tools of iron, you must rely on flesh and indefatigable purpose.
But we're not really running into the level 2 characters so much, so this might work out just fine. I guess the real question is just going to be, can we kill 1 or 2 of these characters in his first turn? We may very well not succeed at that. This guy's stress could get to 100 or his health could get to 0. And that could be a problem. The Jester is, I believe, our lowest character at level 2. So it's not really surprising that his health and his stress are low. However you would say that.
The abyss returns even the boldest
I don't want to lose my Jester character until I can find potentially a 3 or 4 Jester level Jester. I think this Hellion has a move forward attack that requires it to be in the background or behind, outside of position 1.
By inches.
That's just a full heal. So I can attack this guy, or I could try to reduce my own stress. And I will choose to try and reduce my own stress. We'll see if that paid us off or not. Seems like it won't. Again, trying to reduce stress. Meanwhile, we need some kind of ranged character that would actually be able to attack. This character seems like they're unable to move. That's weird. Yeah, you need to be back at this position.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Right, so this guy's bleeding, so we'll get rid of that. Do we have any other items to use on this treasure chest? No. So then you get rid of the gold for the upgrade material. We have 2 more torches, we have no food. We have a hope that is not particularly good. Let's see what happens if the occultist interacts with ashes. 3 would be 1500 versus... Do we have anything here that possibly is not worth 1500? Guess you take that instead. The hope is just to not encounter any more fights and get through the next 2 rooms that are new rooms, and hope that that math is correct. We do have a hallway fight we're gonna have to fight, but it's not as concerning. Because it probably is spiders or maggots or something. Something that will let me potentially heal this character up, which will actually help. And then this guy can just loot himself, remove stress. And that one attack alone takes a lot of people out. I guess the idea here is you would need a move forward character and then another move forward character. So having potentially like 2 Hellions in line
Be gone, fiend.
in the front may not be the worst way to build it. Even 3 in a row just going in circles might work. Although I'm not 100% sure that 2 or 3 Hellion characters on your team work well enough, because the same kinds of attacks probably wouldn't have the have enough variety of effects, and you might run into somebody who is particularly resistant to Hellion attacks. Could leave this here for another turn and heal. There, he just said best not to try this one. He may signal for backup, which that might be the case, really, is that there might be some call for help that would spawn more enemies.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
Wow, the torches. Just getting a lot of rewards. Can't say I'm unhappy about that. Problem now is I won't have a key to open this sarcophagus. Which, yeah, that's a shame. I'm really gonna have to fight here.
The ground quakes.
Should have attacked the one in the back, because this one is taking up 2 spaces. So there's actually 4 spaces being taken up here.
Masterfully executed.
So yeah, it looks like we'll win this run, which is a long run, and it's taken a lot of time. And I'm just hoping that gives a lot of XP to these characters and jumps them up from level 3 or 4 straight up to level 6. That may be asking a little too much, but it certainly doesn't feel like this is new content, and this just does feel grindy and boring.
A powerful blow.
Right. I don't know how you really would speed up this process either. So I don't even have, as a critic, a suggestion of how you might do this better. It does just kind of seem like there's an over complication by having the long dungeons in the first place. Honestly, it might boil down a lot smarter to say you can do the darkest dungeon run for as long as you want, but
as victories mount,
as your
so
inventory fills up, that's the end of your run. Yep. Okay. There'll be another battle, a curio, and then a room with a battle. I think it is more than safe to just say forget that and leave.
Belong to us.
And I got an achievement that's almost certainly for beating a large dungeon. Unless it was for getting over 15,000 gold or something. Large dungeons clearly have the upgrade material you're looking for, and maybe busts in particular, but maybe just doing the estate was the thing. And that gives you 8 resolve, which is not really as much as I would have liked. I was kind of hoping for closer to 16. Evasive is one we'd like to lock in. Faded is one we'd like to lock in. Well, we have a special event.
Flames on the horizon.
Wolves at the
Sulphur
door.
in the air. The
To arms, a
wolves are at
brigand
the
raiding
door.
party is descending upon your hamlet with explosive fury and murderous intent. Right. These afflictions, I guess, just don't go away unless you reduce stress. In the Abbey, I didn't realize that. Okay, well, then that sets us up for saying anybody with an affliction needs to do something. Can we reduce the prices of anything? Reduce the cost of treatment, reduce stress recovered, reduce the cost of treatment.
A man in a robe, claiming communion with the divine. Madness.
Now, this guy, while we're looking at him, also, we just got this new item, which is way more important. Some of these other items, maybe not so important. There's our antiquarian character. 10 dodge versus 25% protection. What does protection really do? That's an interesting question to ask, certainly. Maybe we should be focusing on dodge. Well, the good news is nobody else seems to be afflicted. So now we just need to waste a bunch of money. That guy will only drink. This guy will only do the brothel. I think that puts most of our characters in stress relieving positions, which I probably needed to have done that a while ago. Level 3 veteran musketeer. Still not really what we're looking for. It might be that the Vestial and the Jesters just can never actually be level 3. That is a possibility. Although you would have hoped that the game would have explained that if that was going to be the case. We're still short on deeds and we don't short on crests to upgrade. So we really can't do anything more. And I guess this is going to probably leave us with making another team of just 3 characters and just hope that we can do something with a team of 3 characters. Because otherwise, really is not too much you can do. I could upgrade weapons, but I think level 3s can only be at the level they're at, so I can't do anything with that anyways. So then it would just boil down to, yeah, reduce the cost of this upgrade by using these, which I'm much better off saving. I really don't have enough gold to do anything anyways. Okay. So you have this special darkest level 6 item. Kill one brigand wolf. So the insanity on this would have to be pretty high. We'd have to go with this character. It wants to be in that spot. This character. It wants to be in that spot. And all of these have like rather high stress. Then it would just be bringing in some level 5s. Like that. 2 6s, 2 level 5s. Is there really a chance of succeeding here? I wouldn't think so much. 8 dodge, 1 speed. Virtue's chance. How much is a virtue's chance really worth? I wonder. Let's see. I guess if I'm gonna do this, you do that. Accuracy -2. So I assume that this is just a big fight. And I assume that there isn't really a real experience here. And I would just be throwing a lot of people away. Potentially. I also assume that it says Hamlet short. Well, that does give me the indication that there is actually a fight that would require us to buy resources. Which that's not what I was expecting, really. If anything, we should probably take 2 of everything. This is just going to end up being a huge stupid idea. And what triggered this event? I have no idea. So you go to left or right. And that seems like that may be the entirety of this. These guys have not a ton of health. So let's just see if this works. It might be that it was labeled as a level 6 as a way of convincing people to try a level 6.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Which that kind of would make some sense. It might be that this is also more of a marathon fight too, and that there's just a lot of these characters. Or we may just be getting to a boss fight and they wanted something that was slightly different than just immediately starting a boss fight like the Shrieker does.
this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
This might be... The fact that there's a whole different background around this seems weird. Okay. Have we tried this on the campfire? Our campsite? Yeah. Inevitably, we haven't seen a lot of these, so... Yeah, nothing interacts with that. That's not surprising. Map of the area. Didn't seem to change any. And I question whether the map is going to really change. Or grow. It might be a real experiment and just like left, right, take your pick. A random event will happen.
How quickly the tide turns.
The stress was very high in a lot of these characters before we even started. So this was a dumb thought.
Frustration and fury, more
We
destructive
can
than a
retreat from
100 cannons.
combat if necessary. Let's just kill the dog.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Need to heal this character.
The horror.
Kick to the face.
As the fiend
Get rid of that
falls,
guy.
a faint hope blossoms. The ground quakes. Their formation is broken.
3 down.
Maintain the offensive.
Already at death's door. They're doing a decent
Injury
amount
and
of damage.
despondence set the stage for heroism or cowardice.
Way too much test. Well, I mean, stress. I didn't realize this healed some of the health back.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Well, we don't have a place to rest. Yeah, it's making a circle. And so, odds of this being the right direction maybe are lower, but yeah, it kind of seems like the idea here is that this is a randomly generated dungeon where it's all spooky. Nah, I didn't mean to say spooky. Man, I'm losing my train of thoughts here. I think I probably need to run away. That stress is just too high.
Festering fear consumes the mind.
Like, if this had been the only fight and I just had to walk back that direction and go to this room,
cleansed from our lands.
that would have been a different thing. Just advance.
Confusion, nerves, and panic.
Pick to the face. My only hope really would be that the fight that we're looking for is in the next room and it is fairly easy and that we just get really lucky. What level is this character, by the way? I have no idea what refracted is, but it just gave me an achievement. This is a level 5 character, so it dying doesn't matter that much, but it still matters quite a bit. Refracted ignores stealth. So there is an ability to ignore stealth. And that's probably as part of the Color of Madness DLC, if I was to guess.
Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Alright. Just use like every item we have on that character. Hmm. 167 stress. 172 stress. You really can't push it this far. You really shouldn't push it this far. I've made whatever level of success I've made so far by being fairly cautious and potentially throw all of that away in an experiment seems like a mistake. Honestly, it seems more like what I could have just ignored this event completely with no real penalty.
Grievous
or
injury,
maybe they would have taken
palpable
some
fear.
gold. Maybe if I move this character out of position, I'd get less stress.
The will to fight falters.
Yeah, I'm at 199.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
So apparently, I just had a heart attack. Yeah. You know, the problem that sucks here is that I retreat and it still gives them stress, so...
This skirmish may be lost, but the battle may yet be won.
Yeah, that character dies of a heart attack regardless.
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
And this guy's about to die of a heart attack too, so... Abandoned quest.
Ignorance of your enemy and of yourself will invariably
It's not even really
lead to
like that
defeat.
trophy was something I particularly cared too much about. And I don't know what happened to the other guy, but we just lost a level 6 character. And we now have 2 characters that are antsy. That seems really sucky.
Life. The greatest treasure of all.
We are getting this From Beyond, which I suspect the From Beyonds are real indicators of characters
This
that
man
are
understands
our
that
assist of
adversity
characters.
and existence are one and the same.
What am I trying to say there? I bet you only get From Beyonds when you really lose somebody else and they die. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah. Couple level 3 Hellions. Extra. Seem a little unnecessary. Did we possibly get enough to upgrade this? No. And honestly, should we suspect that we succeeded at anything at all? We did get a lot of people to get rid of their stress. So, by taking that little side quest, that worked out fairly nicely for us. This guy, I think, is antsy, so I'm just gonna put him in there. Yeah, there's just like nothing to look at and nothing to upgrade here, so we should just run into our next embarkment and see what happens. Apparently nothing, so that was just an event that I could have skipped easily. Take on the Necromancer Lord, or take on the Swine God, or take on the Beguiling Siren. This is almost certainly a leper character that I'm going to have to level up if I don't get really lucky otherwise. Right. See if we've got everything where we want it as far as characters. There's a decent chance some of these characters either don't have weapons or armor upgraded, but I don't have enough money to go for that. And honestly, I would kind of end this episode now because I'm getting pretty sleepy, but let's try to push through. Let's see. Medium-sized trip. Means I'm not gonna get any food at all. Really means I should think about selling something. 10% accuracy. Let's look at the character. 8 accuracy minus 4 dodge. What is reducing my accuracy? A disease? 15 dodge, stun resist. Death door. Let's do this one here. And then this one here. Because that stun ability is not really going to help us. Let's go and sell this. And try to get some more gold. We're just really short on supplies. Let's get one of those. And then do that. Maybe take one holy water. And that's really all I can do. So what I'm hoping here
Under the blood moon, I lured
is that we can
my
find the
wide-eyed prey
siren
to the
very
pier's
quickly,
edge
just get in the
before she could
fight and
properly
be done.
appreciate her position.
I kind of don't
I
even
clamped
care
on a manacle, chaining her to the leering
if we
idol.
camp
Small
before we
push was
fight, if we can
sufficient to
just get
send
to it
both
really
into
quick.
the icy waters. And when at length the tide receded,
Of course, I also
jewels
want to
of the most
win,
magnificent
and we haven't even taken...
grandeur
We've
lay
tried
scattered
this
upon the
dungeon
shore.
before, once at least, and we just haven't found the siren.
I always wondered what became of the unfortunate little waif.
Okay. So, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way. You just hope that this is the right direction. And if it does turn out to be the right direction, that might work out well for us. Otherwise, we'll just end up running away. Ideally, we might get a scouting here. Okay. I can't do anything here. So let's look at each character's. This guy has like compulsiveness. Let's touch it. We get a second wind. Interesting. I replaced Manslayer. 10% damage below if HP is below 50%.
Curious is the trap maker's art, his efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
Come on, give me a scouting. Hallway battle. This might give us a general idea of what the amount of health and attack these characters are. Although we are at like level 6 characters anyway, so if I can't take these guys on, then nobody can. Like, well, there would be something seriously wrong with my team at least if I can't take these guys.
Give them no quarter.
I might be, by using the abomination, doing a lot of extra stress.
Diminished.
Which might lead to this team not being really playable. The daily quest around getting some characters brought back to life has proven itself now twice to be really useless, because it's giving you a selection of characters, and the selection of characters don't seem to be coming off the top of the highest level ones you had. And there's not enough consistency, or it just doesn't occur often enough.
As the fiend falls,
if you could resurrect somebody
blossoms.
Every 5 weeks or so, every 10 weeks, every 20, 30 weeks, if it was consistent like that, you might have a different experience. This is a little disconcerting. It's just taking this long.
Nerves, and panic. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
transform again. Transforming does heal this character. Come on, die already. That's a lot of damage.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
We don't really have a healer.
A decisive pummeling.
I'm gonna risk attacking this one. Then hopefully I'll be able to kill this one. Seriously? That went terribly.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Let's see. Attack this one. And more and more, when I'm just putting in, trying to put in a good 8 hours of gameplay, I'm getting really exhausted with this game.
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay. No, nothing but holy water works on this. Food is still not really as good as it should be. Room. Curio trap. Room with curio. So if we walked backwards this way, since we're looking for the beguiling siren, we go here, we go here, we go up here. Who's got our biggest trap disarmed, by the way? 70, 70, 70, 70. Literally nobody. Yeah, if I walk back here and walk into this room, I think I slightly increase my odds of scouting those rooms. At least that's my hope. In a lot of ways, like, it kind of doesn't seem like it's even going to really matter. Because if I'm not really succeeding at these fights as well as I would like, I don't know if I have any real faith that I'd be able to take out the siren.
Eradicated.
We do have a camping, don't we? We should give that a try. Yeah, get into the next room, camp. That potentially helps us. If it doesn't, at least we'll use the camp ability up. I might be able to reduce the stress a little bit to counter any stress we'll gain from
Obliterated.
running away.
The blood quickens.
Healing that is not worth it. was awful. There's some really, really bad turns of events that happen in these runs.
Victory, but a victory nonetheless.
It really does live up to its name, being the darkest dungeon in thematic realms. I'm glad it doesn't actually live up to its name visually. Because, like, yeah, visually, if this game was darker, I wouldn't appreciate that. I could easily imagine somebody making a game called Darkest Dungeon where it is completely in blackness and it's just an audio game or text-based game. Okay. All companions can heal 20% twice. I could increase my speed. All companions plus 10. And that man-at-arms skills are kind of the best.
Soothed. Sedated.
That worked as good as we probably could have hoped.
Darkness closes in, haunting the hearts of men.
Seems like your risk of being ambushed increased quite a bit. The higher the area you're in. We've got another one of these musical guys that we should try and target. Blind fire. That one. Does blind fire's accuracy, is it really low? I wouldn't be surprised if it is. That would thematically make a lot of sense. Go ahead and swap this guy back into position. And I guess we'll start to try to wear down this back character. I really cannot imagine, though, that the
ground quakes.
Siren would be defeatable at this rate. Like, the Abomination is a heavy hitter, certainly. And the Man-at-Arms can be a heavy hitter if he can actually attack. A somewhat heavy hitter. But unless this was a situation where you get to the alluring siren and it just dies immediately, and it's just like, surprise, you made it this far, and that was all that was required. We may very well need to get to a point where we have characters with special traits specifically around the cove, or specifically around fighting those kinds of characters. Right. I'll take that. We have, like, we have this anti-venom, where we have 750 gold, which would be worth getting rid of. Get rid of a torch.
Another mariner, another misfortune.
Just trying to look for traps. And yeah, we definitely wouldn't want to take on that character. Although we might save a torch and come back if we defeat the siren somehow very easily. I just don't imagine that's gonna happen though. I guess we want to keep an eye out for the stress of these characters because we're potentially going to take 50 stress.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
And if we get into this room and find out that the siren is not in this room, then we have to leave anyways.
A moment of valor shines brightest against a backdrop of despair.
I was not seeing that character was anywhere close to being 100 stress, but I wasn't paying that much attention. I guess you're limited to, you can only really have 1 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide, or 4 wide characters, and a boss is almost certainly going to be the only one that is 4 wide. And very possibly only bosses are 3 wide either. It might be that your accuracy is low, and that is why sometimes these other characters seem to jump in front of a bullet. It may not be so much that they are jumping in front of a bullet as you're just hitting the wrong person. Although it doesn't seem like it kind of matters. Eventually you will have to kill them all. Accuracy base 115.
Decimated.
On that. Accuracy base on that 95.
A singular strike.
Now we can focus
Perched at the
solely.
very precipice of oblivion.
How is this guy dying? I guess from bleeding? Well, I can't lose my man-at-arms. Do I have anything that would possibly work? Yeah, heal. Even 2. Just to get him away from death's door.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Heal him again. Accuracy base 90. Damage mod 25. Let's try rage too. Damage mod 50. Guess that probably is the right attack for that character.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
I mean, this really can't go on for much longer. He is just gonna die. So why am I sticking with this instead of just fleeing?
Their cursed champion falls.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I just don't see a reason to go any further.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
Abandon now, save our character.
You cannot learn a thing you think
And
you know.
like I really shouldn't have even taken a step forward. I should have abandoned it and gotten back. That was not a bad run if we're just talking about getting some gold and getting some upgrade material. That was a bad run as if we're talking about actually beating a boss. But backtracker.
Can you feel it? The walls between the sane world and that unplumbed dimension of delirium are tenuously thin here.
Yeah. I can not be upset with that outcome. We do have enough deeds, we now just don't have enough crests to upgrade armor smithing. We could also upgrade that to make things cheaper, but we'd want to do that later. Level 3 Vestal to replace a level 1
A sister of
Vestal.
battle, pious and unrelenting. Another soul battered and broken, cast aside like a spent torch.
There we have a level 3 Vestal that's now much more reasonable to play with and start down the path of playing with. Although healing still does feel like it's a loser's game. And we still need armor smithing at level 4 before we could upgrade that. Honestly, having 31 slots isn't going to help as much as it really should. We can try and get rid of some of these diseases while we're here. The diseases probably are playing a bigger role in characters failing than it would seem at first glance. And yeah, you really can't do much else. We still don't have massive amounts of gold. We still are nowhere close to having everything you would need. Getting 5% of gold per week off of your interest, you need probably about 4,000 gold in each run, so 4,000 to 8,000. So you're talking maybe 250,000 gold necessary before you could live off the interest, so almost never would you actually be able to just live off the interest, but the game's not really designed around that. by level. Still have far too many level 3 characters. And even if I replace everybody with level 4 characters, there's gonna be problems around that. I still have to take the characters out on grindy missions, and that's going to exhaust me emotionally as I play the game. I could try to stress relieve some characters here. Let's go with that one guy. And then leave everybody else. Yeah, and unfortunately, it's just like, for probably the past 10 hours, every single one of these episodes is just the exact same thing. You are starting up, you're doing a few runs, and you're making tiny incremental progress, and that is it. There's no major snowball effect here. There's often slight backslide effects in which you lose progress and then you have to regain it. See, that resonance keyword is also not mentioned here. You have roster, you have restoration, you have resolve level, you have resistance, you have rank. But resonance does not show up. And in fact, what's one that people get all the time as far as quirks? Selfish. That's a quirk. There is no explanation of the phrase selfish in this game, glossary either. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break from playing this game because I'm feeling fairly burnt out on it, and I think I'm going to also opt to see if I can look up a strategy guide or watch some other people play the game, because yeah, we've just invested too much time into this game. I really haven't loved it. I haven't really hated it, but it is very repetitive. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos, because YouTube wants everybody to do that. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites for backup notifications, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me even more than doing all of that, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.